Hello, and welcome back to the Dangerous Shadows House. The Shadows are soot-emitting nobles who assign living dolls as attendants and second halves. Emilico, a cheerful doll, serves her soft-spoken master Kate. As Emilico learns her role, she meets other dolls and masters, uncovering the deep secrets of the Shadows House despite rules against fretting over trivial things. Make sure to subscribe and like for more. In the mansion called Shadows House live the Shadow families. Shadow adults prepare children who come to the mansion to become living dolls, and they're given coffee and told their duty as a living doll. A sleeping living doll in a box wakes up. She gets up and prepares herself before being given bread by another living doll. Before leaving, she eats the bread and looks at a picture of her master, introducing herself to her master, Kate, who decides to name her later. While cleaning, the doll looks at Kate, who tells her to stop, and soot comes from Kate's head. Kate explains soot comes out when shadows are anxious or angry before the doll accidentally breaks Kate's statue and is forgiven. While Kate bathes, the doll watches her and accidentally breaks a pot. Fearing she'd be thrown away, I think I want to become a doll as well. Kate explains living dolls are not just servants but also faces of shadows. The doll asks many questions but suddenly falls, unable to move, so Kate gives her bread. The doll hesitates but eats it, finding it delicious. Kate teaches her to read, and the doll is happy. In the morning, the doll cleans her room, so Kate praises her, and they play cards. Kate then names her Emilico. Emilico happily vows to serve Kate well, and she later wonders if there are other Shadows families before waving to another living doll. Kate wakes up to find her room full of soot, worse than usual, as Emilico prepares herself and goes to Kate's room, where she waits until Kate wakes up. Emilico opens the window to brighten the room and begins cleaning. Kate informs Emilico that she will soon join other living dolls for outdoor cleaning. Mia, a living doll, picks Emilico up for this task, and Emilico is stunned by the beauty outside. Maya introduces Rosemary, the leader, and Lou, the quiet one. Rosemary hands Emilico a cleaning kit and soot suit, though they don't need the suit, immediately after which the four dolls happily clean, singing as they work. Afterward, Emilico returns home, then goes to the doll cleaning area to clean herself. Back home, she excitedly tells Kate about her day and accidentally spills water on Kate's doll while cleaning. Kate scolds her but later apologizes and gives Emilico a doll she made, which Emilico names Raleigh. While cleaning a window, Emilico catches her falling doll but also falls. Kate quickly checks on her, and Emilico thanks her. On their way upstairs, Maya and her master Sarah confront them. Sarah bullies them, but Emilico and Kate handle it, and she worries she's a burden, but Kate reassures her, praising her efforts. Emilico's scraped knee distracts her from sleep and thinks about Shadow's house as Mia discovers that her room has been destroyed by Sarah. Emilico talks to her doll, saying it's her first day of class to learn new things. She sees Maya but is scared, thinking Mia dislikes her because of the garden incident caused by her master Sarah. Rosemary shows the tool space to them before Emilico inquires about the stairs, and Lou explains that's where faceless dolls work, and it isn't good to go there. Mia shows the study room with clothes drawn on the wall, which living dolls will wear when they become faces after debuting. Rosemary explains the estate's structure, and they go to the plaza they cleaned before. Lou mentions the debut space, and Rosemary explains the debut is an important ceremony to determine if a living doll is suitable for Shadow's house. They hear an emergency bell for the Phantom and go to the Hall of Cleaning Implements. Emilico learns the Phantom is a cluster of soot that moves before Barbie orders them to smash it. Rosemary blocks a scorch from hitting Emilico and gets covered in soot, collapsing, after which the scorch forms a spider-like creature, using Rosemary's face. Emilico throws water, and the scorch disappears, after which Rosemary wakes up with soot sickness and is treated. Later, Emilico bathes with Mia, seeing scars on her back before they find Lou with a recovering Rosemary. Emilico tells Kate about her day and learns Kate's toy moves due to soot, so Kate shows her her ability to control soot and asks her to keep it secret. Later, Shadows discuss the upcoming debut, and Edward, preparing for it, sees it as his big chance to impress the third-floor lords and rise in rank. Barbie calls all the living dolls, so Emilico asks why they're there, and Mia explains that they're receiving Star Bearer's wisdom. Barbie accuses someone of being lazy, causing the phantom mayhem, and questions everyone, but she doesn't let Rosemary explain. She kicks Maya after she explains they're still training Emilico, their newest member, so Emilico defends Maya, angering Barbie. A male living doll, Ricky, mops and accidentally trips Barbie, who gets angry but is saved by another doll. The male doll apologizes, explaining he can't wear glasses because his master doesn't. Barbie hits a poor living doll and blames her for the phantom mayhem. Emilico begs the twins to help, but they refuse, calling the poor doll a failure. Barbie assigns Emilico, the poor doll, and the male doll to night patrol, threatening to report them if they fail. This is how an average British master behaves. Maya tells Emilico to avoid angering Barbie, so Emilico tells Kate she can't study that night due to patrol duty. She and the patrol group, including Sean and the poor doll, search the halls, after which they encounter the veiled doll, which brings them food and clean clothes. Rum, the poor doll, introduces herself after Emilico encourages her, but they suddenly hear a noise and realize it's the phantom. They manage to defeat it together, and Emilico finds the source of the soot leak in the attic. As they're celebrating, Emilico gives them all bread as Kate worries they won't pass the debut. Barbie calls the living dolls, stating the phantom mayhem was due to equipment failing and warning that slacking off could cause it again. Maya laughs at her and says the star bearers should handle it, accusing Barbie of being careless. As they return to their rooms, Sarah beats and abuses Maya, blaming her for not making Sarah shine enough to become a star bearer. Rum feels closer to Emilico and tells her doll, Rummy, about it, fearing she'll fail in the debut. John, Sean's master, orders Sean to sleep, treating him as an equal and even considering wearing glasses for his sake. Sean, touched, gives John a goodnight kiss, while Ricky and his master Patrick are similar, but Ricky knows his role is to help Patrick become a star bearer. Lau and Louise have a perfect match, with Louise loving to dress up and control Lou. The debut day arrives, and 5 pairs of newcomers arrive with their living dolls' faces covered. Edward, the judge, introduces himself, and the living dolls reveal their faces. The shadows grow anxious, unsure of what to do, so Edward orders them to display their skills, leading the shadows and dolls to show off their elegance. Edward plays the piano as the pairs start dancing. Patrick and Ricky's points drop, angering John before Edward claims to be a special living doll and doesn't reveal his shadow master, after which he takes the shadows out, leaving the living dolls to eat sweets. The living dolls are left in the room, locked inside. Sean doesn't understand why Ricky and Patrick were demoted, but Lou notes they weren't told to dance. Ricky is angry that only they were demoted while everyone else also danced, but Edward doesn't take them with their shadow masters. Sean and Ricky start arguing, so Emilico stops them before Ricky corrects her on how to hold a cup, making her happy despite the argument. She finds a stone in her food, which Sean calls a feeve as she a message on it. Lou suggests eating more sweets to find more feeves, and they're able to find 4 more feeves, which Emilico uses to open the door. Emilico asks where their shadow masters were, so Edward explains the living dolls need to find the shadows without getting their clothes sooty and leave the garden before time expires. The dolls chose items to help them and began searching as Edward turns over a soap-filled hourglass, giving them 2 hours. Sean sees something on his map, but can't read it. Emilico and Rum team up as Lou and Ricky meet, with Ricky believing he knows where the shadows are. Lou agrees to follow Ricky, but threatens to cut him if he lies. Emilico struggles with her load, so Rum helps her and John uses his strength to escape. Emilico and Rum reach the hut mark, and she sees soot from Louise before noticing black dots on the map marking their master's locations. Before leaving, Emilico takes an orange for Kate, and Kate, confined in a birdcage, rejects John's marriage proposal. Never thought I'd see the day where shadows would get cocked. John says he wants to save Kate and tells her to call him if needed as the 3rd floor adults watch them. On the 3rd floor, the adults observe the debut, and Gerald spies on the debut with binoculars while a woman stands behind him. A statue map shows Emilico and Rum stopping, and an adult tells Gerald to keep watching them, predicting they're going to fail. Gerald moves their statues, and a female adult orders Eileen to send a message to Edward. Eileen creates a soot pigeon, which flies to Edward, screams, and explodes into soot, forming a message. Edward complains about the messages and soot pigeons as a statue of Sean moves on the map. A female adult remarks that Sean is going down, so a male adult rushes over as Sean falls into a pit trap, surprising him as he looks up at the hole. A male adult predicts that Lou's arriving as Lou and Ricky's statues move. Lou cuts branches and falls off a cliff as Ricky finds her shears, but sees Lou climb back up. Lou asks Ricky if her face is fine, so he assures her that it isn't harmed. They start walking before he helps her with a wound, worried for Patrick. Trapped, Patrick prays Ricky rescues him. Emilico finds Patrick, offering food and updates before she and Rum leave as Sean escapes from a heavy door. The adults note the three dolls meeting up as Emilico and Sean use a magnifying glass to decipher clues from the map. They solve the labyrinth gate puzzle, and the three find Soot and John's footprints, leading to John. John recounts his escape and meets with Kate. Emilico realizes the map shows debut rankings, and Sean discovers dark areas on the map. He hopes they can make it through the debut together while Shirley is attached to wires, sitting on a chair. In a flashback, Edward explains to the living dolls that they must save their shadow masters and exit the garden before the giant hourglass completes in 2 hours. He adds that the dolls cannot injure their faces, and their masters cannot dirty their clothes, after which the dolls stand at different entrances when they're given equipment bags. Ricky encounters Shirley, Rum's master, but awkwardly fails to greet her properly. Lou pulls him away and identifies Mistress Louise from her soot, explaining that there are different shadows soot patterns. Louise's soot marks her location under a knotted garden, so the dolls build a rope bridge to save her. Louise insults Ricky and Patrick before Emilico and Rum see Scorches behind a maze door. Emilico makes a broom and apron to face them, but they realize the map doesn't match the maze and defeat Scorches. Rum doesn't feel loved by Shirley, but Emilico cheers her up, and they vow to save their masters. Kate, in her cage, tries to stop her soot flow, but calls for Emilico, whose voice stops the soot. In a flashback, Aileen and Gerald prepare the garden as Edward aims to impress Lord Grandfather and rise through the ranks. This Edward guy feels seriously messed up. Edward's body converts to a shadow as he declares that the debut's proceeding as planned and creates a musical staff from soot. The third floor members discuss Edward's unusual debut method, noting that dolls should lose their sense of self to unite with shadows. Lord Grandfather approves, seeing future possibilities, but Joseph withholds his opinion, and Dorothy sends Aileen to warn Edward. John and Sean discover a desuiting room and a revolving wall of bars requiring cooperation to turn. Ricky reluctantly helps, and Sean notices Lou's shears with Ricky, who lies about where he got them from. The elves announce that Louise and Lou have returned, clarifying Lou willingly gave Ricky the shears. Edward signals a veiled doll to drop a boulder towards Ricky, but John destroys it with soot, shocking Sean and Ricky. Sophie, excited by soot, reveals her face, and at the third floor, Ryan wonders if every pair will pass, focusing on Kate and Emilico, who meet back up with each other. Emilico realizes they need keys to reach Kate's cage and runs on top of it to reach her. Kate suddenly falls from the vent of the cage, but Emilico catches her. Kate watches Emilico placing a cart in cleared thorns as a backup plan in case the crane fails. Shocked to see Emilico bleeding, she watches her head to a nearby river to clean up, and despite having only 10 minutes to exit, Kate admires Emilico for staying true to herself. Edward, reflecting on the debut, shuts the gate and heads upstairs after receiving a message from Aileen. He's shocked to see Kate and Emilico navigating the waterways in a cart-turned boat, and realizes Kate has been hiding her soot power, which she uses to stabilize the cart. This soot is a bit overpowered, not gonna lie. As they near a drain, Kate thinks about giving Emilico a unique name and orders they jump out, flying over the wall. She creates soot wings, allowing them to land safely and pass the debut. Edward realizes a pair failed as Rum and Shirley struggled to exit, and Shirley slowly disintegrates, leaving Rum holding her ribbon. Emilico becomes Kate's face and learns she can't discuss Kate's powers before they're offered bitter coffee by Susanna and congratulated by Mary-Rose and Rosemary. John and Patrick regret Shirley and Rum losing but move on while Kate suspects the coffee made Emilico cry and Edward is promoted and vows to catch her. Kate reads the Shadows family's teachings while heading to Emilico's room, noting its rules. She finds Raleigh on a desk, makes it fly, and drops it, noticing Emilico's diary detailing recent events and soot sickness. Kate realizes a connection between soot and drinking water and has Emilico drink water back in her room, deducing her condition as soot sickness from soot-laced coffee. Those jerks laced her drink with drugs. The rulebook doesn't include this to prevent Shadows from curing brainwashed dolls. Emilico throws up but doesn't react about Rum, making Kate cry, seeing which Emilico breaks down as well, frustrated by feeling happy about Rum losing. A train leaves the manor, carrying Ryan and Dorothy, who manipulate villagers with soot coal, selecting children to work at the mansion and brainwashing them with soot-laced coffee. Kate tells Emilico that living dolls are brainwashed human children as she sees a veiled doll disappearing when Kate enters. Kate tells John that Emilico is gone and the dolls are brainwashed humans before they both start arguing and Sean returns to normal. The group, including Louise and Lou, decide to help Kate against Edward. Emilico has been kidnapped by Edward, who uses a female voice to interrogate her about Kate, but becomes frustrated with her stubbornness. Meanwhile, Kate meets John and Louise in Patrick's room, planning to disguise themselves as veiled dolls to infiltrate the Lord Grandfather's wing. Patrick and Ricky distract Barbara when she hears voices, allowing the others to use Louise's soot power to manipulate a veiled doll to unlock the door. Barbara leaves after finding nothing, warning Patrick, who breaks Ricky's brainwashing by reminding him of his identity, and Louise does the same for Lou. Kate infiltrates the Lord Grandfather's wing through its basement, learning from Barbara that Edward is on the Edward changes tactics, telling Emilico that Kate will be disposed of due to her incompetence. Kate finds a large box leaking soot but leaves, followed by a small morph with a bow. Emilico, comforted by Raleigh moving in her pocket, doesn't answer Edward before Raleigh knocks over a teacup and Edward leaves when Gerald and Aileen arrive. He shouts for Kate after knocking over her chair, and Kate narrowly avoids Aileen and Gerald and frees her, but they are found by Edward. Edward catches Kate and plans to hand her over to Lord Grandfather. John, disguised as a veiled doll, approaches the Lord Grandfather's wing, but accidentally reveals his identity to Aileen and Gerald, following a small morph to Edward's room. The morph frees Kate and Emilico, who distract Edward and escape, meeting John in the hallway. They run to a tower, but are cornered by Edward, with John restrained by Gerald, so Kate and Emilico jump off using Kate's suit wing and John frees himself, summoning a soot blast to boost them to the children's building. They land on Ricky and Sean, who would have thought the guy who got cupped would be the MVP at the end. Edward, with Eileen's soot pigeon, forces them inside, but the Star Bearers confront Edward for trespassing, forcing him to leave as the third-floor members are alerted. Night, Edward is banished, with Aileen and Gerald demoted. Lord Grandfather lightens their punishments. Interested in Edward's methods, he decides to catch Kate and lower the third-floor standings, and in the morning, Emilico leaves her room with Kate and meets her team. John returns safely and Mary-Rose starts an orientation for new maids as the small morph becomes a bow on a doll's finger. A train arrives with new children, who are given coffee and recite the living doll rules. Thanks for joining us on today's journey with Emilico and Kate. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button, subscribe for more, and hit the bell to stay updated. Until next time, stay curious and keep away from dangerous shadows.